Hey everybody, today we are building this. It's a resin 7-foot by 7-foot storage shed from Home Depot. Lousy picture, I know. Even lousier camera work by me, I know. But I opened up the box, chopped it up, got the tools I needed, laid out the parts accordingly, got the most important tool out of all of them, the radio, which I have to shut off every time I record so I don't get a copyright infringement. It's gonna go over here next to this receptacle, which I recently discovered is not a receptacle. It's just a box with wires hanging out of it. Hope they're still good. Anyway, this part of the ground needs to get leveled. It's not too bad, but gotta rake up some twigs and whatnot and just level it off real nice. It's sandy, so it shouldn't be too hard. But I can only talk about it while I hold the camera. If I'm going to do it, I got to put you down. And I don't know if you really want to see me hit the high spots with a shovel and then rake everything flat. It's kind of boring. Okay, that's good enough. I'm exhausted. It's not quite level, but I'm going to tilt the camera so it looks level. I am not your average man. I actually look at instructions sometimes. Alright. We're almost there. I guess I'll try a little harder. Okay, so it clicks into the floor kind of like Legos. And then there's these proprietary bolts, I guess you'd call them. They look like this. They come with this very fancy plastic Allen wrench. And they just overlap and bolt onto one another. So it's going pretty fast. Can't wait to see the finished result. Focus in on it. Mm-hmm. Ta-da! So the walls snap into the floor. They bolt to one another with plastic bolts. Now I got to put the doors together per the instructions. The pictures are less than self-explaining, but it looks like the opening is at the bottom of the window, which doesn't make any sense to me. Except that if water got trapped in there, I guess the water would drip out and run into, it looks like we have to go in this groove around here. So I started at the top thinking that would keep rain out, but I think the rain's getting in whether you want to or not. It's a matter of whether you let it drip out or whether it freezes and pops the window out. So I think I'm going to peel it off and do it like the instructions said. Okay, there were kids going crazy out there, and you wouldn't have been able to hear the word I had to say. So some things happened. I put these headers up here. I put their metal supports in. I put that pocket in there to catch this ridge beam. Put a pocket in the front. Put this header in. They got two bolts on either side that hold it in with a metal strut or support to give it a little bit more heft. The back gets a screw at every tooth, whatever you want to call it. The center gets this A-frame. Back up so you can see it. The A-frame is attached to these braces, studs, whatever you want to call them. They slide in behind these teeth and get some screws. So that gives that some structural rigidity. I'm ready to put the roof panels on, but foolishly they take skylights and I didn't put that skylight in. But it's not too late. I'll climb up the ladder and put that skylight in. I'm going to put all the other ones on the ground though, so that I'm not up there fighting it. Two of them are vented. Two of them are not. I'll put the vented ones in the back. because there's the door in the front. And there's also some, not soffit, but gable vents up on the top there too. That should help a little airflow through here. So that's what you missed. The skylights have these pockets around them for this weather stripping. Here the weather stripping is embedded. Where the seam is, right there, I'm going to put that, this will be up on the roof facing down. So any rain or water will be hitting the solid gasket and running down. It won't be running up against the break in the gasket and leaking in. Hopefully. And I'm going to install this one. And I won't be able to videotape it. I'll get my buddy to hold the camera and videotape one of these other ones going in down here on the ground. So that skylight's installed. This panel is installed. I got the screws in it going down here. There are slotted pockets in the roof that interlock on those teeth sticking out of the top here. And you do the back panels first because the front panels go over this lip, and that way there's no leak. And here's what the teeth look like. And here are the slotted holes, which you pop it down over the tooth and then slide the tooth in. So you put the panel up on the roof, overhanging the ridge, pop it down onto those teeth, and as you pull it down to you, it locks in. And then you put the screws in. And I believe there are some ribs that are gonna get screwed in these slots where these holes are, which will help also lock it into place. Also, there's these teeth down here that I guess this pops down onto. I'll obviously be putting the rest of the skylights on down here on the ground where it's easier. Alright, so there is the seam in the gasket. I'm going to have that downhill so water can't run in. Get this lined up. They make this very convenient, and I'm being very sarcastic. Okay, that's one. Make it easy on the cameraman and lean it against the wall and stop moving things around on them. Got enough screws in this? Mm-hmm. 6. It's hurricane proof. Mm-hmm. When the plastic shed blows into Pennsylvania, the skylight will still be on.
That's right.
8. Alright, that's how the skylight goes. Recording?
Mm-hmm.
Alright guys, so here's how the panel goes on I was telling you about. We line up the slots. Push them down so the teeth are in the slot, and then slide it down. Okay, that's the front locked in. Now the rest of it will be screwed from the inside. Alright guys, now I gotta knock stuff over. The screws are here, and line it up with the screw hole. That just stripped out. Did you stop recording? Are you still recording?
I'm still recording.
Oh, this is fun. Come on. Gotta fight me. Really? So the shed is complete. I heard some horror stories about these sheds, and I really only had one problem, which was my fault. Well, two problems. One's my fault, one's not. One problem was I had trouble getting the roof to click together. My advice to you is when you're tired and it's getting dark, call it quits, start up again the next day, because my vision is getting worse. And in the dark, I misread which panel was which. So it didn't want to go together because I was trying to put it together wrong. And when I put the right panel in the right place, miraculously, it went together very simply and very quickly. So that's one problem. Another problem is make sure, this one's not your, this one, hold on, my brain shut off. Okay, now I remember. The other problem I have that is not my fault is the vents. There is screen for the vents, and there's also a frame. The screen goes between the shed wall and the frame and gets screwed into these little divots. The frames were not included with the packaging. Unless it was somehow accidentally discarded or lost, I don't think they sent the frames. So I have screens with no frames, so now there's no screens in here. It's only a matter of time before wasps move in. So we are going to email the company and see if we can't get them to send us those frames. That is not my fault. As far as people having a nightmare putting this together, I think here's two secrets you got to keep in mind. One is they want you to level the ground. So make sure the ground is level. Ground's out of level, shed's out of level. Pieces aren't going to fit together properly. The other thing is they want you to square up the corners. Make sure you take the time to prep the ground and square up the corners, and it'll go together pretty easy. If you're trying to fight it because you're trying to build a trapezoid, well, it's just not going to go smoothly. So we chose this location because it's close to electricity. We got 20 amps here on a GFI, and it'll be up to my customer whether he wants to just run an extension cord or run proper electricity outlets, switches, lights inside. He'll decide. I think the next project is we're going to want to put some shelving in here. So I think the garage on the house is getting turned into an apartment. So there are shelves in there right now, very ugly utilitarian shelves. I think we can take them down and repurpose them for shelving out here. But now that's two projects going together into one, so I'll show you the shelves. I won't show you the garage. That's going to be its own video.